You actually made history becoming really the first Canadian to land a permanent role playing, I'm sure this is going to be shocking to you, a very conniving daughter-in-law, Monica Modi, on, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Saath Nibhaana Saathiya.
Very good. You did that very well, Amit.
How does a girl from Toronto end up on one of the most popular Indian serials?
Gosh, I don't know how it happened, but it was a series of small steps. When I moved to Bombay, I never thought that I would do TV. And that wasn't what I had moved there to do. And it just, at one point someone said, Uppekha, the divide from TV and films is not that much anymore.
Yeah.
So why don't you do it? And you have a massive market. And I was like, okay, but my Hindi, and I was lucky by that time. I had tutors and diction coaches. So my Hindi wasn't bad at all. It was pretty decent. And I started giving auditions, I think, in February. And I had just done about, 4 or 5 auditions. And this role just fell into my lap like that through an audition, an actual going to the production house and doing the audition. It wasn't through any connections or anyone I knew at that time. Yeah. But it just seemed like a tailor-made role for me. When stars align and stuff happens, because they were looking for someone to play that foreign bahu. And of course, they go with the stereotypes of all foreign girls are like biatches and want to poison the family.
With great fashion sense, because you were always on point.
Thank you. I didn't choose my saris, but they'd always give me the sexy sari blouses. So I was happy with that.
I was like, that's a sassy daughter-in-law. So then actually, let's talk about you landing that role, because you're right. It's a very popular serial.
Yeah.
I'm sure so many actresses would have been vying for that role, right?
Yeah.
So how did you score it?
I gave a good audition.
Yeah?
I guess. I think that's
How many auditions did you do? One and they're like, you're Monica, we're done?
No. I did 3 auditions for that part. So I think, and that's when I would say that no matter what happens in your life, if you're an actor, keep at your craft.
Yeah.
Keep honing your craft. Keep making sure that you're developing your skills and developing. If you want to go to India, then make sure your Hindi is good, right? So you have to keep developing that. But nothing made my Hindi better than actually being on set with an entire crew that only spoke Hindi.
Yeah.
No one spoke English, and an entire cast, save 3 people who were Hindi medium based, completely spoke Hindi. So if I wanted to communicate with anybody, and you're the new girl that's just come in with cast members who've been there for almost a decade, you don't want to be that odd person out. So I'd force myself to speak Hindi and stuff to them so that you can integrate, because I think like you're spending 12 hours a day with these people. They're your family, pretty much. So it's really important to assimilate into the culture over there as well. And so going back to how I got the role, it was just I auditioned 3 times and then waited about 3 weeks, I think, and then I got the call that, okay, your dates are blocked, you're shooting from 4 days from now. I'm like, wait, no, I have an event, I have this, I have that. They're like, nope, sorry, you have to start shooting. I'm like, oh my God, I was shooting a commercial, so I had to manage a few things, but then once I got into the flow, I was okay.
In terms of landing that role, were you excited? You're like, this is gonna really change my... Okay.
But I had no concept, because I'd never watched Indian TV serials before. So I had no concept.
Had you watched this serial before?
No,
Oh.
I hadn't watched any. So I had no concept of how big it was. So obviously once I got the call that I landed it, I went on YouTube and I tried to research and whatever. And then I tried to do a family tree, but it's all so confusing that I had no idea. And it's funny sometimes how they cast in Indian TV series. So my first scene was with the grandma. That was okay, the matriarch of the family. So she is such a senior actress that it was intimidating to do that first scene.
Was she nice?
She was so nice.
Okay.
And she's like, beta, come sit down. But there's a thing, you have to walk onto set, greet everybody, good morning, anyone. And if you don't, they hate you for the rest of the day. So that's what I'm talking about, cultural norms. That is just the way it works over there. Luckily, we're Canadian. We tend to greet people, so it's okay. But she was wonderful, and she really, took me under her wing and helped me out and said, beta, you do this is the way it works and whatever. And but my second scene was with Lovey, who I didn't know at that time what she played, what character she played in relation to mine. So I do this scene, and then I turned around and I asked her, I'm like, I introduced myself, whatever, and I'm like, oh, so what are you playing? And she said, your mother-in-law. The girl looks like a child.
Yeah, she
and
does.
I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about?
Only on Indian serials.
Exactly. You're playing my mother-in-law, and I had like my heart skipped a beat for a second. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go with this.
Yeah, go with it.